In other words, Adonai has not made himself known through this name yet. So in Exodus 6, he's informing Moshe that this is all about to change. Here's Moshe on the plains. Loads of people, big multiplicity of people, but they've got no land and all this caper. He will now manifest himself in a manner the patriarchs never experienced. Now he is about to appear as Yehovah, who makes himself known by coming to the earth personally to redeem his people with supernatural signs and wonders. He is about to make himself known as Yehovah, who will judge the nations. He is about to make himself known as Yehovah, who can supernaturally bring his people into their land. And their story is our story. And in the last days, he says, they will know that my name is Yehovah. In Genesis, Adonai blessed the patriarchs and their offspring. He led them, he protected them, he made their labors fruitful. He gave them success in war, etc. But these were all done working within the framework of the natural world. Even during the big supernatural event, Sodom and Gomorrah, we read the angels warning Lot and saying this: we're about to destroy this place because the outcry against its people has become great before who? Yehovah. And who? Yehovah has sent us to destroy it. He's Yehovah when he gets involved in creation in this type of manner. If we go back into Genesis to before the patriarchs and check out the other big moments of supernatural judgment, then we see not the name El Shaddai, but the name Yehovah. What's it say? So Yehovah, said, I will blot out man whom I have created from the face of the land, man and animals and creeping things and birds of the heavens, for I am sorry I made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of who? Yehovah. When he says he will make himself known as Yehovah in the last days, this is incredible. According to Jeremiah and Ezekiel, the Yehovah of Genesis 2:4, 3:24 is about to become intimately involved in the affairs of man as the Lord of history, so as to make himself known to the nations. In similar fashion to the way that he did back in Exodus. That's why there's such a correlation between all these plagues that go on in Revelation and all the plagues that go on in Exodus. Just before they all came in Exodus, he says to Moshe, tell my people that I am Yehovah. I will appear to my people as Yehovah. In the last days, he says he's going to get these people, he's going to start making them walk in his ways, and he will reveal himself as Yehovah once more, and supernaturally, he will bring his people back to the land. We've known Adonai as El Shaddai. Even though El Shaddai's involvement is real and moves towards a chosen outcome, it is often concealed and totally invisible to an ignorant world. Very often the world has no idea of the miracles that the Lord is working in our lives. The miracle that it is that we're sat here. And everything is cyclical. Their story is our story. And it was written for the people on whom the ages has come. On the end of the ages has come. It's written for us. We're to learn from this. This speaks of the times that we live in. See if this sounds familiar. Yehovah says to Moshe, you've only known me as El Shaddai before, not by my name Yehovah. Tell my people I am Yehovah. For a long time, many of us knew Yehovah as Lord or Lord, God Almighty, or just God. They're just titles, whereas Yehovah is his name. But for a short time now, we've known him as Yehovah. He's yet to appear to the world as Yehovah, but we've been told that that's who he is. His name is Yehovah. It's become important to us. What happens when Yehovah reveals himself to his people by his name is that what follows is him revealing himself by that name to the rest of the world too. That excites me, as does the thought of the promised land, because the connection with his name, Yehovah, and the land is there. It's so strong. Makes me think, what's about to happen? For most of us, we learned the name Yehovah effectively through Moshe too. It was Moshe who come and taught us that his name is Yehovah when we came to the Torah, the writings of Moshe. At the time of the scriptures in Exodus 6, the people were in exile. They were in bondage to the system of Egypt, the world, which is a pretty good description of us at the time of learning the name Yehovah. Their story is our story. Everything was about to change for Yehovah's people and for Egypt, the world. And their story is our story. Everything is about to change for Yehovah's people and for the world, because he's about to reveal himself as Yehovah. Everything is about to change. That's why this is so similar to this, because their story is our story. Do you get a sense of the times that we live in? Brad Scott says this: I have found it to be generally true that the behavior and obedience of the followers of the Lord seem to be somewhat different than the followers of Yehovah. There's Yehovah, and he makes a correlation that the people who know the name Yehovah tend to be people who walk according to Yehovah's voice, to his teaching as an instruction. In other words, even though the power and authority is behind a name and not just in using a name, the trend is that most of the followers of the Lord hold an antinomian view of Scripture. In other words, they don't follow the teaching and instructions of Yehovah. With that in mind, let's go back to Moshe's final speech. For you know how we have dwelt in the land of Egypt, and how we came through the nations which you passed by, and you've seen their abominations and their idols, wood and silver and stone and gold, and which were among them. Lest there should be among you man, woman, or family, or tribe, whose heart turns away this day from the Lord our God to go and serve the gods of these nations, lest there be among you a root that bears gall and wormwood. Okay, wormwood. JP pointed this out a few years ago, and I think it's quite significant. Wormwood is associated with the desire to do away with Yehovah's law and follow one's own heart instead and worship false gods. Because Jeremiah says this: Yehovah said, because they have forsaken my Torah, which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, neither walked therein, but have walked after the imagination of their own heart, and after Baalim, after false gods, which their fathers taught them. Therefore, thus says Yehovah Zavaot, the God of Israel, behold, I will feed them, even this people, with wormwood, and give them water of gall to drink. End times prophecy says this. And the name of the star is wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood. Many people died of the waters because they were made bitter. So if a third part of the waters are infected with wormwood, what are the waters? Revelation 17:15, the angel said to me, the waters you saw where the prostitute is seated are the peoples and multitudes, nations and language. The waters represent the people on this earth. A third part of the waters were made wormwood. What is wormwood? Wormwood is going after false gods. It's walking away from obeying Yehovah's voice and from walking in his Torah. World population is about 6.9 billion. Christians who have forsaken the law, 2.3 billion. A third part of the waters have been made wormwood. These also, by the way, tend to be people who do not know Elohim as Yehovah. A third part of the waters will be made wormwood. They have turned aside from walking in Yehovah's ways. They've turned aside from the covenant. Moshe passionately urges the people standing before him and us to both shema Yehovah's words and to remain ever passionate toward and faithful to our God. So let's boldly take a stand for Yehovah. That's what we're called to do. He's not coming back for a filthy whore, but for a spotless bride. There is such an amazing call on our lives, isn't it? An amazing call upon our lives. And there's going to be a big party. A big party. The angel said to me, write this, blessed are those who are invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said to me, these are the true words of God. We're betrothed to Yeshua and we're to reign with him. That's the calling upon each of our lives. I feel a divine jealousy for you since I betrothed you to one husband to present you as a pure virgin to Christ. And if you enjoy, we will also reign with him. If we deny him, he will also deny us. William Bullock Sr. says, do not let the false gods of this age seduce you, the cultural gods of materialism, of uncontrolled sensuality, of self-expression, of political action, of philosophy, and of institutional religion will call to you. They will say to you, you don't know what you're missing. They will offer you toys, trash, and trinkets and demand your destiny in return. They will promise you money, ecstatic experience, self-actualization, power, knowledge, holy water, and smoke, and give you only disappointment, disillusionment, despair, and death. You are called to something much, much more glorious than any of the gods of your neighbors or all of them together can offer. You're called to walk with the creator of the universe and to love and be loved by him. That's just ridiculous, isn't it? But that is it. And to experience the joy of assisting him in extending his kingdom into every encounter, every interaction, every relationship, every situation, and every circumstance he places within your sphere of influence. Do not trade in the riches of the destiny Yehovah has set for you for the fleeting pleasures of sin. And ask yourself, what carrot does Hasatan dangle before you? What futile dream are you chasing? Forget it all. There's a calling on your life which is incredible. Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not him. See, that's the problem with these people. This root of wormwood. They love the world, and they do not love the Lord. For all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh and the desires of his eyes and the pride of life is not from the Father, but is from the world. The world's passing away along with its desires, but whoever does the will of God abides forever. What does it say in Psalm 40? I like to do your will, O Lord, my God. Your Torah is within my heart. It's where it's always meant to be, written on your heart.